Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by Sprout Solutions, Aperon, Tuala, Symph, Secuna, Red Circle Global, Maroon Studios, and Aim High. Check out our partners in the description. Welcome sa Startup Podcast PH, inspiring more Filipino entrepreneurs and innovators. We're live now in Facebook and we're live dito sa Yspaces, our partner co-working and event space here in BGC. We have Maude Labs and we have the head of business development, Monica Dizon. Hello, Monica. How are you? Kamusta?
I'm very good. This lovely Friday morning. Afternoon na.
Friday afternoon. And
Afternoon na.
kitang-kita sa labas natin ang skyscrapers of BGC. Napakaganda naman ng ating lugar ngayon. And I think saktong-sakto, no? Kasi Maude Labs is actually a company, a startup din for personal branding.
Yes.
And so, I think sakto. I think parang this space gives a certain vibe for our brand, ano. But anyway, sige, I let you do the introduction, Monica, ano. So, ano nga ba ang Maude Labs?
So, Maude Labs, we recently pivoted. So, Tin, as you mentioned, our friend who's in common, is our CEO. And Maude Labs was founded about a year and a half ago as a 360 marketing firm. So, we offer marketing solutions for companies, but we've recently pivoted to being a personal brand lab. So that was a recent pivot, basically because we saw a need, right? When you're in a business, you have to solve a business problem. So our problem that we saw was we were handling a lot of startups and businesses, but we realized when people, want to work with a business or team up with a business, or even if you want to buy a product, right? You want to know the people behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And consumers nowadays are becoming a lot smarter, a lot more educated, and a lot more discerning with the products that they want to purchase from, right? They want to know the why, the company behind it. And a lot of the times, that depends on the founder, diba? Let's say you don't align with this person's values, why would you buy from them? So what we do is we help individuals, entrepreneurs, and founders streamline their branding or figure out what their brand is, because I believe that we are all brands, right? Brands are not just jeans, Coca-Cola, or whatever. We are our own personal brands.
Actually, nag-strike ng light bulb sa akin yun na. First of all, the first thing that you said that about marketing na parang yung naging concern is now people they want not just to know the brand, the color, the image, but also the people behind nga, and if it really aligns to who they are. And I think not to be parang sabi lang ng mga tao, that's why podcasts are medyo okay now, kasi sa podcast doon mo makikita yung totoong tao behind, ano.
Yeah.
And anyway, about the after, ano, I think very striking yun. Ang ganda na actually na maybe why you pivoted kasi companies nagja-jump agad sa marketing when they don't even know their identity pa.
Exactly.
Ayun.
So you can think about, a big strategy. You can think about a big campaign, 6-month campaign, a year-long campaign, all of these things. Nowadays, when it comes to marketing, that's not difficult anymore, right? If you have a product you want to roll out, it's, there's a formula that's easy. But what we feel like a lot of companies lack is that internal look, right? Who are the members of the team? How do we, as members of this team, as representatives of a brand, how do we reflect then the product, right? How do we show up in a meeting? How do we show up in the world? Does it reflect back on the brand? Especially for founders.
So, kumbaga, don't jump agad sa external, but
no, I think it works hand in hand. Yes.
Yeah. But in order to have a good external approach, you need to have a good internal knowledge and identity
Exactly.
kung who you really are. Oh, that's super nice. Sige, let's just give maybe an example on how you really approach this problem, or parang itong what you really want to solve nga for startups even, ano. So, how exactly do you do that, let's say for a startup, or let's say for Startup Podcast even, or for any brand, for any company? So, how do you help them really define their branding? Ayun.
Let's say I were to meet, let's say you set a meeting with us, Johnny, as Mr. Startup Founder, right? You say, what, Startup PH I think can be amplified, but I want to work on my personal branding. Say you come to us and you say, what, when people Google me, I want Startup Founder to come up, my SEO and SEM to be great. We can also work on that. But I always say when you book a call with us, it's almost like a first date. We have to get to know each other. So we look at your story as a whole. What are your past experiences? What are your goals? Where do you want to go? How far do you want to take Startup PH, this podcast? Or maybe you have other projects you want to work on, because I'm sure that this is not just the avenue that you're working on. Like you mentioned, you have other aspects of your life. So how do they tie together, right? You're a multi-dimensional person. I doubt that this is the only thing that you do. You mentioned earlier that you're also a professor.
Yeah, I teach and I actually do some consulting work, and I actually am a BD also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we Google you, what you would want to come out is not just a podcast, but all of these other facets of yourself, because that's what creates this whole amazing person, right?
But is it tied or parang personal branding, or even like company branding, like the identity of a brand of a company, or is the focus really on the person, on the founder?
You know, they're really so intertwined with each other, especially nowadays that, you know, everything is a Google away, right? If I want to buy a lip gloss, I can Google it and I can see who the founder is, what their political views are, who they are, if they've been canceled. That's such a huge thing now, diba? Everybody's getting canceled, especially nowadays. Online, there's so many Reddit threads. So making sure that you, your values, your vision, and you as a personal brand aligns.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned, actually, it has become a practice for me na pag meron akong na-encounter na even nga hindi bago na brand, even if parang matagal na pala siya existing, I always think, sino bang may-ari nito? Sino ba yung person behind this? Lalo na nga ngayon na let's get kumbaga real a little bit nung the past few years, medyo nagkaroon ng alignment yung mga tao in terms of our affinities. Yun na
exactly.
lang, yeah.
Because you want to make sure, you know, nowadays times are hard, people are working hard. You want to make sure that your hard-earned money is going to people and to companies that you trust and align with your values. Right? Whether it be politically, personally, whatever it is.
Interesting. Now, how do you exactly do this? I mean, the first date, right? The first date. But
first date.
what are the angles, the perspectives you look at? And then on like the action side, how do you help them really after they know, after you help them know who they are, after you help them know what they want to do? Do you also parang even sa imaging?
Yes.
Even sa how they talk? How they appear in media, for example?
You know, it's really case to case, because you'll see the person's personal strengths, you know. Some people are great at talking in front of a camera. Some people are, you know, they already have the right outfit. They show up well, but maybe their online presence isn't strong. Maybe they don't have a website. Maybe they don't have great social media. It might not align with who they are as a person. Or the other way around. Maybe someone has a great online persona on Instagram, on TikTok, on all social media platforms, ang galing curated, but in person, it's not aligned. So that's also something that's very important to us as a company, is to make sure that what you see online and what you see in person is what you get, and vice versa.
Natatawa ako. I mean, sorry, kasi I know that, and many founders struggle actually with that. Na they try to appear something na hindi naman talaga sila. Just because yun yung nakikita natin sa media na if you're a founder, you should be
like this and this.
This, yeah.
But you know, I think nowadays, and going back to the current trends, is authenticity is so important. And I think that people, consumers, brands, they're able to sniff out kung if it's not real.
Yes,
if it's like if it's put on, diba?
Yeah, true.
So I think what we're able to do in our team, we actually have on our team someone who works as a life coach. Which is also, I think, a huge advantage for our team, is that we have her. Her name is Miss Vicky Herrera. Very talented. And I think what she really does is able to really work on you as a person. So it's really like mind, body, spirit. Kind of like that. Sometimes I feel like, you know, we really dive into the personal of the people that we work with. Because, you know, I think a lot of people, like you said, see or have a perception of what they should be like without realizing that they already have the tools kasi within them. It's just about amplifying who they already are.
So this is a very individual approach, no?
Yes.
And then you have in your team parang in different different aspects on how you, or different tools nga on how you help that person.
Yes.
So, I'm just curious also, how do they approach you? How do these founders approach you? I mean, ano yung
How do
parang-
they find us? Or
Yes, and parang, I'm just imagining, baka may nakikinig kasi for example
Yeah.
now na, ano yung parang, kumbaga, let's say this in a startup term, pain point or parang tinek na kailangan na matanggal. That's why they will approach you.
it's really also case to case. Like, let's say we have someone who, took a break from working because they started a family, let's say, and then all of a sudden in their 40s, they're empty nesters, 50s, and their children are out of the house. They want to jump back into work, and they're like, oh my gosh, there's this whole new digital world. Where do I start? Or it can be someone who said, look, I'm not hitting current sales, certain sales targets. I want to amplify my voice online. How do I do that? So it's, we really don't believe in templatizing things
Yeah.
or creating templates for our clients, because we really want to make sure that everything that we do caters to a specific need.
Super interesting. Tsaka personal branding nga, ano, you should really go personal. You should really
Yeah.
go individual. But I guess you still have like somehow not a template pero parang formula or strategy on how you will do.
Of course. That's
ano.
the secret sauce.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, just for me to imagine din, ano, if ever ako, if I want to, parang, actually, even now, minsan nag-struggle ako, ano ba talaga yung branding ko dapat? Kasi, if I may share just a bit, yung startup ecosystem now, parang very grandiose din yung parang dating na numbers. Pero ako, in Startup Podcast PH, I want to, yun nga, bring out the genuine voices,
Yes.
genuine identities of the people behind, So, medyo torn ako in that way. But, sige, for example, me or any other startup founder out there, what will they expect dun sa parang service or parang product that you offer to them, is this like a continuous coaching nga, a continuous plan, or parang meron ba kayong step-by-step na bibigay sa kanila, or parang just to get a picture lang on how this will
So
work?
it also depends on, obviously, on the scope of the project, right? There's some
Okay.
people who are like, I just want to improve my SEM. I just want a brand book. I just want a website. Or there's some people, and this is actually a lot of our clientele, is I want the whole package. And that can take anywhere from 6 months to a year. Some of them have goals. Let's say we have a client who's an artist, and she said, look, I'm dropping an album by this date. I need to make sure that by the time that this comes out, that I'm set up and ready.
I'll give an example. I just thought, parang yung kay Taylor Swift, na naging effective din
Okay,
ang
I'm a Swiftie.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so
Naging-
speaking my language.
Naging effective, I mean, for me, naging effective yung external nga na marketing niya.
Yes.
Also because, saktong-sakto yung internal identity. Kumbaga, known na known, yung parang hulmang-hulma. Define na define, kumbaga.
So Taylor Swift is actually an interesting case that you brought up, okay? So from a marketer's perspective, what I see with her is she's done the opposite of what everybody else has done, right? What she's tapped into is the mystery of who Taylor Swift is, right?
Yeah.
When is the next album gonna come out? When is she getting engaged? It becomes then, number one, kind of like a wild goose chase, an Easter egg hunt of clues, right? But what she's doing with that is engaging her audience in a way that stimulates them and that forces them to work, right? Because what she's also doing is legacy building.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh my gosh, who is Taylor Swift? She's not like every other artist out there who every move they make, every breath they take is on social media, right? There's almost nothing about her online unless she puts it out.
Yeah, so would you say you also can help on doing that for artists nga? I mean,
Yeah. Of course, there's a strategy behind everything. Nothing, I think, online, especially with brands nowadays, is done by accident.
So actually, that's the whole package, as you said kanina. Marketing, and now dinagdag ninyo, you added yung parang identity building,
Yes.
branding,
Yes.
identity, then marketing, but it's still a whole package. So, for example, there's an artist nga or maybe a founder who really want to go Taylor Swift level or whatever, parang really big, so they can approach you and
Yes.
you will help them with that.
So it's step by step. You have to build a foundation of who you are as a brand. And that goes from like visual language to actual language, a brand book, all of those actual tactile tools that you need. And then we go into strategy. But we have to build that baseline of fundamental tools that someone needs, right? So if it's colors, if it's language that's spoken, how you dress, make sure it's everything's tied together.
Yeah, amazing. And you also actually have an upcoming event na actually
Yes.
medyo malapit na So you also do this you also do parang workshops.
Yes.
So can you share more about this?
Sure. So on September 6th, to be hosted in Manila House, which is just we can see it from here actually.
Okay.
Andun lang. September 6th in Manila House, BGC, we'll be hosting the Maude Method workshop. So we're calling it Polished and Powerful. So
very very
again branded.
Yeah.
So we have a few really interesting speakers. So we have Miss Tiffany Cohen, who we're bringing in from New York City, and she is called the $1 Billion Healer. So what she does is work with individuals on unlocking wealth roadblocks in their mind. Because a lot of times, whether it be consciously or most of the time it's subconscious, you have roadblocks in your head of and I think this is also very prevalent in our culture of hanggang dito lang ako eh. I'm not capable because I'm whatever insecurity you have in your life. But really, anyone is really capable of anything. So I think what she really does is unlock that center of your brain that tells you you can't do it. I mean, this is only in layman's terms. I'm not a healer. I'm describing it the best way I know how. But what she really does for you is unlock those parts of yourself that you didn't think were there. We also have Miss Joanna Preisler on the event too, and she's become really big on social media, especially with the female demographic, maybe a little bit older, between 40s to 50s, and she really puts out on the internet motivational content. And we're going to be talking to her about getting over the cringe of posting. Diba? I think a lot of people, and myself included, sometimes I get here. The post, diba? Sometimes putting yourself out there online is so daunting, right? So putting out videos, talking videos, things like that, it seems easy, but really when you're about to do it, you're like, shoot.
Mag-hesitate ka kasi
diba?
baka
Nakakahiya naman.
Ano isipin ng mga tao?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But something I've learned recently is embarrassment is the price of entry. That's my new favorite thing. So sometimes you just have to get over yourself, diba? And then lastly, we also have Artu Nepomuceno, who is a well-renowned fashion photographer here in the Philippines. He shot several covers for huge publications here. And what's interesting with having him is from an artist's perspective. How does personal branding tie into your overall image from the visual language perspective, from a practical standpoint?
So this event is more of parang, correct me if I'm wrong, awareness then, or parang making people know how important is branding.
Yeah.
And then next is how can they work on their branding,
Exactly.
right? Yun. Oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to join kasi as I've shared yung parang medyo mga dilemmas ko recently. Who am I really as a podcaster?
Oh, let's go. Let's go into it now. I'm just kidding.
I want to ask pala, kasi you mentioned kanina that you pivoted or parang
Yes.
at least added this, and then now meron kayong workshop nga. So, what really is the motivation to starting on a workshop?
I feel like the workshop, we really felt like, obviously we're a boutique service, right? But we wanted to be able to reach a wider range of people, right? We feel like these workshops are useful for people at any stage in their career, whether they're just starting out, maybe a fresh grad, someone like I mentioned earlier who's just jumping back in after taking a break, or someone who's wants to just refresh on their skills, or maybe just wants to learn a new thing.
Very interesting. And now that I talk to you, mas nag-make sense sa akin yung importance ng branding. And it's not actually like a daunting thing. Kasi for others naman parang na-intimidate, do I have to take care of my brand, ganyan. So mayroon ganang aspect din eh. But actually, right now, it really makes sense.
We are all brands, whether we see it or not.
Exactly.
Like, who is Johnny? He's a podcaster. When you think of brands kasi, you're thinking Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
Apple,
Commercial kasi.
jeans, right? But if you think about, let's say, Apple, for example, they have different components. There's the iPhone, there's the AirPod, there's the laptop, whatever. But you as a person, you have different aspects to you too. Right? We're all multidimensional.
Yes. Oh, that's so deep.
Maybe I should be the coach. Kidding. No.
Is payroll processing taking too much of your time? Introducing Sprout Payroll Starter. For as low as 5,000 pesos per month, you get a team of experts to help you with your payroll and HR needs. We'll help compute and process payroll, handle all your government compliance requirements, and automate timekeeping. Leave the payroll to us so you can focus on growing your business. Enjoy peace of mind with Sprout Payroll Starter. Trust the digital future with Twala. Secure and tamper-proof digital signature. Electronic notarization service. And custom AI agents for intelligent document workflows. Visit twala.io to learn more. In today's digital world, your organization needs more than just technology. It needs a strategic partner. At Symph, we build web and mobile apps that drive innovation for startups, enterprises, and organizations worldwide. Visit symph.co today.
Protect your assets from bugs before bad hackers exploit them. And launch your products seamlessly with Secuna, your trusted partner in cybersecurity. Receive reports in real time and work with security experts to find bugs in your products before others do. Let's make your security our priority.
Running a business? Make it smarter with Red Circle Global. Streamline operations, boost productivity, and manage everything in one powerful ERP system. Book your free business demo today at redcircleglobal.com, guided by one of our top experts.
Anyway, sige, let's go naman sa stories ni Maude Labs. So actually, Tin Santos was the CEO. Is
She's
actually
our founder and CEO.
Founder
Hi,
and CEO.
Tin.
Hi, Tin. It's actually my student back in UP.
Super.
Several years ago na actually. But,
Oh my God. So tell me about Tin. What's the chica? Just kidding. She's a good student. I'm kidding.
Actually, she's good. She is.
She's amazing. So Tin is actually, I like to say when we do our discovery calls, because it's usually I lead those when we're onboarding new clients, she's our data girl. So what she's really good at, and I think when we were discussing, we're talking about all of the fluff stuff, right? Like colors and language and everything. But what Tin and our team is what they're really good at and able to do is root everything in numbers. So making sure that everything is measurable and scalable, right? We don't just do things just to do them or because it looks pretty. No, we like to make sure that everything that we do is rooted in numbers. Because I believe you can't change what you don't measure, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's very, the subject that I taught to, actually, it's engineering, parang engineering approach eh. And actually,
Amazing.
It's a startup approach. I mean,
Okay.
you should measure. You can't improve something if you can't measure it, basically.
Exactly. I mean, even from like weight loss, right? How will you know you're losing weight if you don't weigh yourself or if you don't weigh yourself based off of your pant size? Diba? Yung ma-measure mo naman eh.
Kasi otherwise, it's just a vanity
Exactly.
thing that you're doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not really meeting your objectives, your goals.
And at the end of the day, as a founder, you have numbers that you want to hit, right?
Yeah.
Financial numbers. You have to
Revenues
look
at the end of the day.
Exactly. There you go. The professor said it. You have to look at your P&L. You have to report to your investors. So looking at that through that lens, you have to make sure that everything is, grounded in numbers.
Yeah. So I guess since we mentioned Tina, the founder and CEO, can you share actually your position then pala? I introduced you na pala, and the other team member.
We're a very tight team. So so it's me. I'm head of business development.
And your psych, no? So right, the background is psychology. So
A long time ago.
yeah. But I mean, actually now I've heard merong mga psychology na into marketing, sales, and actually even business development nga talaga.
Well, because I feel like psychology, when I was entering university, a lot of people are like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be a psychiatrist? You're gonna be a
I
psychologist?
know that's a medical.
HR?"
Yeah. Okay.
But I think what's important with that is human behavior. So I think,
Yes.
for me, my advantage is I'm able to look at our clientele or even people I meet through that lens.
Yes.
And have a more empathetic and view. We also have Miss Vicky Herrera on our team, who is our chief of growth. She's super talented. She's also a life coach. If anybody needs life coaching, hit up Victoria. She's amazing. And she's also been in the marketing industry and PR for a really long time. So she has really established herself in that field. And we have Tin Santos as well, as you know, who's our founder and CEO.
Ayun.
Our little genius.
Sige, if can we go back a bit?
Sure.
Before pa. So how really did Maude Labs start nga ba? And you mentioned nga it started as 360 marketing. So can you parang briefly tell lang yung story?
Sure.
Up to now.
So Tin actually founded Maude Labs about 1.5 years ago with her business partner, Miss Giselle Wilwaiko. And I came on board in February. So we started off doing that for startups, doing their whole branding and marketing for startup brands. But then we realized as we were going on, and when I came on too, with the first few months, most of our clientele were coming to us. Wait, I need a website. Wait, I need help with my social media. So it was a conscious and subconscious choice for us to pivot to personal branding, because we realized that's what we were doing already, and that's where all of our strengths as a team were coming together towards.
Yeah, so actually it's kind of a natural progression.
Exactly.
Somehow. Kasi you're forming the quote-unquote vertical, inubuo niyo yung vertical approach dito. So it actually becomes a package nga.
Exactly.
So right now it's actually a package. But also, if I may ask, how do you approach clients, or parang how do they approach you? Or parang on the marketing approach naman of a marketing company?
Yes. But I think to personal branding is nothing new, but I think it's not something that's very, popular here in the Philippines yet. I think this is still a very new concept. A lot of people still think social media can be run by a teenager, or I can hire an intern to that, and then you realize, hold on, right? I think that's
you've hit a very critical thing, a very critical issue. Kasi, I mean, yeah, marketing is actually a very, very, very big space.
It is. It's huge.
Even digital marketing, for example. I mean, digital marketing is part of it, pero it's not just like making posters, publishing on Facebook.
And so a lot of people still don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're starting out. They're like, I'll just get an intern.
Yeah, for startup founders. Although to be fair, startup founders have not all naman kasi have large budgets na kasi. Or I mean, it depends.
Well, it's not about having a large budget, but I think it's about spending wisely. Right?
Okay.
I mean, just like yourself, how do you stretch your budget for yourself?
Well, at the end of the day, if business-minded lang, if it would give me ROI.
Exactly. There you go. You have to see returns. So that goes back to us doing everything that's rooted in numbers, everything that's measurable. Because we want to be able to show you, look, you're spending this much, but look at the return.
So is that how you parang approach, parang tell the startup founders nga who you are na we can really help you improve the business. We can really help you. Oh, interesting. Kasi yun nga, actually, what I see, I'll be a bit honest here. Many companies kumukuha nga ng mga marketing, but hindi mini-measure actually yung results eh. Just lang, para lang may mga posters, may pop-up mat.
All of us in the team have, backgrounds in marketing. So I came on board recently. And we've been on both sides of the coin, whether it be on the agency side or the client side. And I've always felt like that's lacking. That, why are we doing this? Because it's cool, because it's trendy. But what's trending and what's cool or what's out there might not work for you.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. So actually, what you did, you became a more holistic agency pa rin. I mean, let's label it that. Pero, na kayo? Kaya nyo nang i-serve, since medyo verticalized or lumaki nga yung nyo, kahit sino, at any stage of what they are currently dealing with. Pero I'm just curious, why did it happen na parang startups, correct me if I'm wrong, startups yung naging clientele ninyo? I mean, what's with startups?
I think that's just kind of, that was like the natural progression. I don't think that was anything really intentional on our part. But it just so happened to be that way based off the relationships that we had. And there's something about the tenacity of a startup founder that's really great and infectious to work with, diba? Because when you're working with a startup founder versus a big corporation, it's also great, obviously. But the passion and the drive is there. And something that's really important to us as an agency is that we create synergy with our clients. We want to make sure that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? So we want to make sure that we feel also fulfilled in the work that we do.
And now that you mention it, siguro din kaya very niche nga, parang very perfect niche nga yung sa startup founders kasi startup founders sila yung face ng diverse changes sa buhay nila.
Exactly.
Kasi I mean, they may start simple, they may start basic, or they may start medyo well off na pero their visions are actually big.
Exactly.
And on that path, on that journey, it will require transformation or change sa company, sa brand, and even sa sarili.
Exactly.
And so I think baka din kaya medyo...
Or startup founders because they're building. Sometimes they're so pigeonholed, or they have like horses, they have like blinders on, and they're so focused on their company and product that sometimes they tend to forget about themselves. And you have to amplify your own brand to help that out.
Going back
Take care of that.
Going back dun sa event, so why do you think should startup founders, baka may mga kikinig na
Hello.
consider or go to that event? I mean, what exactly will startup founders? Let's go in that niche.
Sure. I think that if you're hesitant about building your own personal brand, I think you'll be able to get a snapshot view or a condensed view of why it's important. So maybe you're apprehensive about building your own personal brand, or maybe you're looking for ways to amplify your personal brand. It's a great little immersion, one-day immersion of that experience, of what it's like to build your personal brand, whether it be with us or another branding agency.
If I may ask lang, Monica, have there been challenges naman?
Of course, every day.
Okay, sige, can you share? Or I wanted to ask specifically when dealing with with this kind of clients, for example, startup founders na medyo hindi nga aware sa importance nga ng branding or
I think people come to us because they see the importance now.
Okay.
I think it's just certain aspects that maybe they don't see that we have to show them. And again, it goes back to how data-driven we are. If you show people the numbers, if you show them the proof of why it's important, people tend to come around.
Okay. Sige, how about challenges in general?
Oh my gosh, always! There are always challenges. I think a big challenge for us too is getting people to see their own value. We had this client a few weeks ago, and she's an artist, and she goes, I don't know how to define myself. I do directing, producing, singing. I do the visual art. I don't know how to describe myself. And we were telling her, well, you're an artist. Everything you're doing is artistry. You're a director. You're all of those things. Why do you have to define yourself by only one word? Right?
Dami ko naisip eh. I mean, yeah, kasi some startup founders even add art and creativity in what they do. So is it, I mean, have you encountered those startup founders and company? I mean, not artists per se, pero as in yung companies who are parang very infused with not luxury, not grandiose, but yung parang spirit of community. Are you getting my
one of our first few clients was actually an app that helped disabled children. So even things like that, and then we have to tie that into the founder too, because the founder story was also so personally compelling. So how do you get that story out there to tap into people's emotions? So we're not just talking fluff here, right? Or talking about people who are artists or musicians or singers. A lot of these people have NGOs, have charity cases or things like that.
Wow. This is actually super. And the fact, first of all, what I like here is so far in our conversation, first of all, yung why you pivoted nga to personal branding. And second, now, it makes sense to me na everyone should really consider. Dati kasi parang iniisip ko rin ako, should I take care of my personal branding? Well, medyo ironic na ako yung nasa camera, diba? Startup podcast actually has parang name. Pero, yeah, parang I think myself, I will benefit from this kind of So, I might go to the event,
See you next Saturday! Well, you have to think, startup podcast is its own brand, but you are the face of the
Yeah,
brand.
exactly.
So you want people to also, your relationship with your listeners is so important, but to cultivate that relationship is the trust between both of you. So how do you cultivate that trust with your listeners? They have to get to know you.
Yeah, that's another very important thing. Actually, kaya ka rin important magkaroon ng defined na personal branding is for your community, for your listeners
Exactly.
to really trust you. Oh, ang dami ko natutunan dito. Yeah, this is really new to me. I mean,
Yes.
I've been, my background nga, nung naging student ko kasi very engineering approach eh. So actually, perfect nga that as you said kanina, mga engineers, well, not all naman pero like yung mga tech people should start considering how they define their branding and ano ba yung image na nakikita ng mga ibang tao. Kasi even if you're a tech developer, you create apps, you create products, it's still important at the end of the day that not just the product, but your story nga aligns and resonates with the users, with your users.
And I think when people, like, let's say you're taking your engineering as an example, there are different aspects of someone. Are you into sports? What do you do outside of engineering? That's what sets you apart from all the other engineers, right? Maybe he has a podcast and someone wants to approach you about an engineering project but wants a keen perspective of someone who has a podcast. How will they know that you bring all of these things to the table?
Oh, I see. Oh, it's really nice to have that now that I think of it. Parang imagine ko lang say on my perspective eh. Parang now that I know
Case study.
Yes, exactly. Now that I know my identity, tsaka ko ngayon i-determine should I have a website nga, ano itsura, should I have a LinkedIn, a Facebook group,
Yes.
Discord, whatever.
All of it.
All of it. Wow. I mean, I have to say, this is super, well, it's a whole package nga, and I may say, not just marketing eh. Actually, to be fair, I have to say, this is a way on how you can improve your business and how you can increase your revenues. It's a way. Kung hindi mo siya napapansin.
It's something that I think is so critical but often overlooked.
Yeah. Ayun. Actually, I'm very amazed, with what you're doing sa Maude Labs. But
Your student was very talented. So you're good, prof. 18.
Ayun, sige. Final question na lang, Monica.
Yeah.
What really is the vision, actually? Maybe when Teen and the business partner nga made it, and even now, for sure, yung vision naman is na, of course, known niya ng team as a culture, So, ano ba yung parang culture that you're building and the vision that you're seeing sa Maude Labs, really?
I think nowadays everything is global, right? The internet is global. So what you want to do is help founders, entrepreneurs, not just here but abroad, amplify their voices, right? Why can't a startup founder here have an online presence in another country, right? And even for us as Maude Labs, we want to be global. We want to be working with different clientele across the world because the world it's large. But it's also very small now thanks to the internet, right?
Wow, it's very deep,
Where is everybody coming from? Online.
Okay. Global. The world is big, but the world is small.
It is, right?
I like that.
Introducing Aim High. Smarter construction management starts here. Monitor costs and progress with real-time insights. Plan ahead and adapt with streamlined scheduling tools. Make data-driven decisions to avoid costly delays. Increase efficiency and profit with Aim High.
Thank you so much again, Monica, for this
Thank you.
conversation. If our listeners want to know more about Maude Labs, maybe there's someone out there who want to amplify their personal branding, or maybe as simple as going to the event on Saturday, or the
Yes.
workshop on Saturday. So, By the way, that's September 6,
Yes,
right?
10 a.m. to
Saturday,
5 p.m.
10 a.m. to 5 p.m. here in BGC in
Manila House.
Manila House. So if you want to know more details, check out
Maudlabs.com.
maudelabs.com. And you have a Facebook page?
Everything. Facebook,
Everything.
Instagram,
Brand
hit us up.
marketing.
Of
Yeah,
course. LinkedIn, hit us up.
Yes, so
Maude Labs.
and maybe just search Maude Labs and again
Maude.
Maude Labs. And again, the workshop is entitled
Polished and Powerful.
Polished and Powerful. Ayan. Thank you so much, Monica,
Thank you
for
so
this
much.
conversation. And I actually learned a lot.
Oh, thank you.
And ayun, thank you sa mga nag-tune in. So if you're interested, search Maude Labs or go to the website nga. And ayun, thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much to our 60 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner with certifications on Lean Six Sigma, product management, data science, and more. Pixel by ePlayment. Turn content into opportunities and funds into real community with Pixel by ePlayment. Sign up now at pixel.eplayment.co. School of Profits, Filipino-led community for aspiring freelancers, VAs, agency builders, and online earners. Built to help you start, grow, and earn online together. Founders Launchpad, our ecosystem partner. Early stage accelerator providing venture capital funding, operational support, and mentorship. Hire Busy Solutions, provider of the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Agile Data Solutions, the Philippines' fastest growing market insights tech company with data gathering platform Hustle PH. Smile Checks, streamline hiring and onboarding with automated background checks. Cloud CFO, cloud accounting service provider for businesses ready to grow. Cloverly Tech, all-in-one digital platform for property developers. Paddy Beaties, accessible and personalized diabetes self-management application. HKB Digital Services, tech-based business tools including payroll, ticketing, and loyalty rewards. Hyperstocks, digital banking enabler for rural and thrift banks. One CFO, CFO services, bookkeeping and tax and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. Unawa, driving digital transformation with secure, legally enforceable electronic signatures and robust AML compliance. School Tech, all-in-one AI integrated school and learning management system. Better Support, a Manila-based BPO company. They have a referral program for people who can bring in new clients. You might know a Western-based business that needs better support. Britanna, enterprise-grade ERP solution that fits a small and medium business budget. Wonder Brand, data science-driven brand strategy and design for emerging markets. East Point Business Outsourcing Services, one-stop shop for streamlined business solutions for MSMEs such as business registration, bookkeeping, and more. Doon, Philippines' first fully insured peer-to-peer car-sharing marketplace. Divico Technologies Incorporated, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, personalized nutrition and weight loss programs for you. This episode is powered by Lablog, Stugbodok, JIA Engineering Solutions, Algacon Aquafeeds 1 Alj, Grey Wolf Technologies Philippines, Pareto Consulting, Jure.ph, Big Giant Games, Pahatid PH, Wishless PH, Tech Tribe, Yay, Uplift Code Camp, Board Prep, Dohey Philippines, Edfolio, Hive Rooms, Kazam, CodeSham, Sirius MD. Support the podcast through the links in the description.